Good afternoon, Sports Insanity Network fans. It's Mark, old ops guy Halpern, along with my PIC Vice President, Danny Boy Reginald. Good afternoon, Dan. How we doing?
Buddy, when our team is up 3-2 in a series where for the most part, except for two games that they blew, they pretty much dominated, you take it. You'll
Yeah,
take it any day of the week. And one more sleep until hopefully we can celebrate.
yeah, and a lot more sleeps until Christmas. But as we roll into it, as we know, the first three games, the Knicks won the first game and then lost the next two in just unfair full fashion. But
Yeah, close
But
game.
what? Yeah, they were
Margin
close
was only a
games. The
point,
Knicks were
right?
there. They weren't blowouts. The Knicks were there.
Yeah.
It, it just unfortunate things happened at the end, but that's not what we're going to touch on because we already did. We're going to start with Game Four, which happened the other night, in which the Knicks had a little bit of a wake-up call after rumors had it that Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby had pulled the team aside and had a private players meeting only. I think it worked as the Knicks came out in game four and came out with a purpose, winning 114 to 98. The Knicks were being embarrassed. And I want to use that word, Dan, because that's essentially what it was when they've owned the Hawks all season. They were being embarrassed in games two and three. Yeah, they were right there. It was a 1 point or 2 point losses, whatever. But Atlanta shoved it in New York's face, pushed it up there, let them know they were there. Well, what happened? You don't piss off the New York Knicks because it's like pissing off the Hulk. You don't want to make them mad. You come home to the most loyal fans in all of basketball, to the biggest event arena, Madison Square Garden, in which our New York Knicks took on Game Four, and they came out with a vengeance. And game high was not Jalen Brunson, Dan. Jalen Brunson was there, but he wasn't the game high. OG baby with 22. Cat showing back up, but Cat didn't want to just show up. He showed up in three ways, Dan: points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah.
Cat game four, a triple double, 20, 10, and 10. Obviously, Josh Hart, Brunson with 19. And then the thing Dan and I have been griping on, the use of the bench. The bench was used in this game. And let me tell you, it helped out the starters a great deal. Dan, game four was a myriad of excitement. What was your take on four?
I mean, way better than the horrific no-show in game three. By the way, I can't confirm a players only meeting. They didn't need it because what needed to happen was Mike Brown needed to get his head out of his ass and, excuse my language, allow Karl Anthony Towns to go to town with these low-life, non-competitive Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they had absolutely no answer whatsoever for Karl Anthony Towns when he's on the floor. Use your big body, big boy, toughness, use your strength, use everything about you, cat, and go to
And
town with these motherfuckers.
and
Because
to your question is
what?
why haven't they done this?
Well, because Mike Brown is stupid. That's why. Instead of, Mike Brown allowing Karl Anthony Towns to play his game and, you know, expose the flaws of this Atlanta team. Again, a very good Atlanta team. It's not about the fact that they're not good. No, this team is good, but the Knicks are better, and they've shown that they're better. So it was a lot of the fact that the rotation for Mike Brown that he's been putting out there first three games was a total disaster. And it's taken until game four to realize that. I'm sorry. That's just coaching malpractice there. But of course, like Mark said, you can't be mad because Karl-Anthony Towns did have a triple double, 20, 10, and 10. You
Yep.
know, um, and I know Brunson didn't necessarily have the best game points wise. Him being on the floor with his, 3 assists and the fact that his plus minus was plus 11. Look, him being on the floor, even though it didn't matter points wise, him being on the floor mattered because he was able to at least lead the Knicks to getting points. He was able to be on the floor, be that leader. And of course, Karl-Anthony Towns had a great game. OG Anunoby was unstoppable. How about Grand Theft Alvarado? Mr.
Yeah, baby.
Jose, baby.
Let me
The
tell you.
Brooklynite Puerto Rican. We love all that.
Let me tell you. This was a special game, but none more. Dan made a very good point. It's not the fact that they didn't need Jalen Brunson. He was there, like Dan said. He was there. The assists, and all that. But there's one thing I want to add to what Dan said. He becomes a big decoy. You know, the moment they start seeing, oh, they're using cat and that, your defense goes down. Brunson's going to own you. So by overshadowing Brunson, that gave Anobi and Towns the opportunities to shine bright. But I also want to give Dan shouted out Alvarado. I want to shout out Miles McBride, who had 11, a big 11 points. Mind you, three of them from downtown. And then Mitchell Robinson just doing Mitchell Robinson things. For a team that put up 43 rebounds and 12 offensive rebounds, that's 43 rebounds total, 12 of them being offensive rebounds. That's what I meant to say. Those offensive rebounds is something the Knicks were not getting in games 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So the Knicks take game 4, 114-98. And that gets them on that sugar rush, the euphoric feeling. And then normally after game 4 comes game 5.
And it's a pivotal one too. I said this to Bill on SIP. The Whoever wins game 5 has a great chance of winning the series.
And I couldn't agree more with that statement because at this point the series was already tied 2-2. Atlanta's put up a good front. We're not going to say they haven't. At times they've looked very good. Over the last two, not so much.
Yeah.
So now here we are, game 5, back at the Garden, and the Knicks are back in their rhythm with the crowd noise, with the non-anxiety of not being in New York. You
Yeah.
throw all that out and you get a relaxed team, things are going to happen. Well, the Knicks came out and almost won by 30. They only could win by 29. Man, 30 would have been better.
Yeah.
29 just says we didn't want to embarrass them. The
Yeah.
Knicks came out and won 126-97, and it was all Knicks throughout this entire game. The Knicks led every quarter, no matter what. And, we got our points. Our usual suspect, said, not this night. Jalen Brunson with almost a 40-pointer, 39 points with 3 of 5 from downtown. Mind you, while he's doing those 39 points, he's still dishing the rock for 8 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 16 points, 14 rebounds. OG Anunoby, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson, 6 rebounds. This team has finally got the fire stick up its ass
Mhm.
indeed.
Thank God.
Everybody played a role, whether it was small or not. The only person who did not enter this game was Mohamed Diawara. I don't know why he didn't get a chance. Maybe he will
Yeah,
tonight.
it's all right. Like, well,
It's
whatever.
all right.
Like,
But you can't play everybody. But you try. Even Tyler Kolchak was in for only 3 minutes, but he did have a rebound and 2 assists.
mm,
Everybody on this team played a portion, no matter what. Obviously, none more than Brunson, but Here we go, Dan. We're back at it. Win game five, 126 in supreme fashion. Now we got to
Plus,
hear the damn point of view.
pluses all around. Once again, Jose Alvarado coming in. He had 12 points on the night off the bench. That's the type of production we need from him. Um, of course, Mitchell Robinson with his point totals, his rebounds was critical. Jordan Clarkson did his thing too. Um, and again, not we are not looking for spectacular performances off the bench. We just need to make sure the Knicks can keep up without Brunson being on the floor, without Cat being on the floor, because they're going to need some time to rest in these games. It's very critical. And look, I think Mike, that's actually one of the things that Mike Brown has done very well this year, is the fact that Brunson and Towns actually have had more rest. Um, but no, solid game all around. Obviously, gotta love what the starters did. I love what Josh Hart did. Even Mikal Bridges. I know we give a lot of crap to Mikal Bridges, and rightfully so. He actually didn't fumble any part of his game this time around. He was great defensively, and obviously didn't chuck up any
Any
horrible shots.
bullshit. Yeah.
So it was we can yes, he scored 7 points, but we can take that because at least it wasn't a liability and he wasn't causing bad possessions. So
Right. He wasn't throwing the ball away like he had been. He's
yeah.
making better choices on whether to take the shot or not.
And look, he has to be better offensively, but whatever. Like, look, it is what it is. Um, the key here, getting Brunson back on track. Not that Jalen Brunson's had a terrible series, but he certainly hasn't been Jalen Brunson. And
We we've seen an
39
offshoot,
points,
yes.
39 points, unbelievable.
Right. That's the
Massive
Brunson
report.
we're used to.
Exactly. Totally agree with you, Mark, on that. So I was very happy about that. Obviously, OG Anunoby knocking down his 3-pointers and making big time shots. Karl Anthony Towns using his big body to get stuff done. Excuse me, sorry.
No, this is what we wanted. This is what we are seeing. One big thing to point out is like Dan said, getting our starters gelled is important. But looking at the bench a little bit, we have mentioned Mitchell Robinson. We've talked about Jose Alvarado. Jordan Clarkson is definitely in the playoffs has shown much better than he has in the regular season. Miles McBride, my biggest problem was with not the fact that he didn't have any points. He just didn't seem like himself yesterday. His shots were wild. And for him to come out for 20 minutes and not even have really any positive effect bothers me. I don't care about the 3 rebounds. I want to see him make some points. That's why he is there on the bench.
But you know what? Like sometimes you're not gonna get the point production. That doesn't mean he hasn't been great. It just means that
No,
the point production was just wasn't there. And truthfully, the Knicks didn't need it to score a lot of points.
correct.
Um, so like whatever. Maybe in game 6 he'll come out and help us out a little bit more, you know.
To give the Atlanta Hawks their due, they did do try their best.
Sure.
Neil Alexander Walker was 16. Jalen Johnson with 18. No player on the Hawks with 20 or more points.
Yeah. I mean,
Jalen Johnson with the double double though, just to give him an honorable mention.
sure. I mean, but for if your leading scorer for the most part in this game was, I mean, obviously later on it became Jalen Johnson, but for the most part in the game, if your leading scorer was Dyson Daniels, I mean, I'm sorry, like you're having
I
a rough
mean,
night.
I mean, quickly before we talk about what's coming up, look at game four. And now look at game five from the gentleman who wears number 3 for the Atlanta Hawks. CJ McCollum went from scoring 30 to 6. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I mean, people have bad days. It happens. It's just when your team is centered around him and he's not there, the whole team falls apart. And as we just saw. Now, a lot of you are sitting and asking, when is the next game? Well, the next game is tomorrow night at 7:30. And where's Dan going to be? Dan's going to be live on the air,
I
but
wish.
not with me. Not with me. Dan is going to be at his job. I am going to be doing exactly what I was doing, so I'm not going to I'm going to give my superstitions. I'm going to be right here on the bed with the wife on the side and both kids in the other room and my dog at the front of the bed.
Yeah.
This is a game in which needs to be played, and I'm going to use two very big words, needs to be played meticulously and not overzealous. And basically just reverse both words. I want them to play carefully, but I don't want them to play too carefully. I want them to play smart basketball. You see the opportunities to go on a run, use it.
Mm.
You're one, don't wait for that second person to get down the court. Take the chance, draw a foul. I
Mhm.
understand we have four guys on that floor at any time who can shoot the three. Doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
For me in this game, besides your two normals, Cat and Jalen, I need to see it from Miles Bridges. I need Bridges to show up tomorrow.
Well, you show up every day.
No,
That's the bottom
maybe he'll
line.
show up in practice. That would be
You
a good
know,
thing.
and look, obviously, like I said, Mikal has to be better offensively. But look, show up, do something to impact. Josh Hart, and we knew Josh Hart would bounce back after the horrific game 3, and he's bounced back quite nicely. He's getting the steals, he's putting pressure on the Hawks. Um, he's making timely shots when he can. Like every aspect of the Knicks game changes when they act like the better team, and they are the better team. So don't fumble it. Go out into Atlanta and take care of business. There's no reason that the Knicks look, truthfully, this should have been a gentleman's sweep, right? The Knicks should have won the series already. Little adversity doesn't hurt, but the Knicks have proven these last two games that they're better. So be better.
Now, as we look forward, we have game 5 tomorrow. I'm sorry, game 6 tomorrow night, and then if needed, game 7 would be on Saturday.
Mhm.
Now, for those of you questioning the playoff bracket, well, let's take a look. Right now, the 76ers came back with a big win last
Mhm.
night, and Joel Embiid
Massive.
had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
It was probably one of his best games in a while
Yeah.
that I've seen him play at that level.
Yeah. I mean, that's a disaster if you're Boston. I still think the Celtics are going to win the series.
I do too.
Yeah.
As it returns to Boston, again, also tomorrow night, they will be
They're mean
they
Philly.
start an hour after the Knicks do.
Yeah, they'll be a Philly. Um, even
That's
if
what I meant, Philly, not Boston.
yeah, look, the Celtics are going to win the series, but they're not going to get the rest that they thought they were going to get, Mark.
No. They thought they were gonna walk in and walk all over Philadelphia and get
Mhm.
time to give Jason Tatum some breather.
Mhm.
No, they're playing just like the Knicks are.
Yeah.
They could end up. Look, I haven't seen the 76ers team play that cohesively
Mhm.
in a while. And
Yeah.
if they come out tomorrow night and play like this again and force a game 7 and the Knicks win it out tomorrow night, the Knicks get that rest and let's say Boston wins. Boston's tired coming in against the
Mhm.
Knicks.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though. I'm not I would rather play the Raptors. if it was up to me. As the Raptors have miraculously themselves also kept it close with the Cavaliers. I didn't
Yeah,
have the Raptors even keeping it this close.
I
So
know.
I mean, the matchup obviously of this playoffs is going to happen a lot earlier than people thought. And you know Dan, and you know me, we going to be going nuts. There's nobody here in this network who likes Boston, so we're going to be Boston bounding
Oh yeah,
all day.
yeah, yeah, and bring it on. Like, who says we can't do it again? You know?
What is the line? One more time. I
Yeah,
can't sing, guys.
I
Let's
can't
just face
sing
it.
it either.
I can't sing.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, game 6. I want to hear New York rocking. I want to see
Yes.
the images outside the Garden.
And can we infiltrate that fucking arena in Atlanta? Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I don't care, dude. Let's just march on
we have
Atlanta.
we have we have fans down south because
Yeah.
of the northern to south, the migration and everything. People move there all the time.
Yep.
Like, let's go. Like, let's invade whatever they call it, State Farm Arena. I don't know what they call it, but let's invade Atlanta
Yeah.
and make a road crowd a home crowd. You know?
Yeah. So tomorrow night, Dan will be at work. I will be on my bed. My dog will be next to me. My kids will be eating dessert, and the Knicks are going to be winning.
Yes.
And then we move on to the next round. And you know what that means, Dan?
Mm.
They get more of us. They
Mm.
get to see us more. And who doesn't want to see the best Knicks podcast basketball out there? Exactly. Look, we appreciate you all for staying with us up till now. Keep staying with us as there's going to be more
Yeah.
basketball, as Dan and I are going to be recording every Tuesday. And if we have a big moment, we're going to jump on live because Dan and I have that ability because Dan and I are on the same wavelength. Please follow us at www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for all your blogs and vlogs. Tune in for some great podcasts. The award winning SIP original show with Dan and Bill every Monday and Friday. The Face Term with Mike Rifkin and Lawrence Patchman Lang. You're on the 6 Man Up right now with me and Danny Boy. Mike and I just dropped the Mets podcast. We got every sport rolling right now. Cricket's coming. Cricket's coming. I don't know why, but we're going to start talking cricket. And you know what else is coming? FIFA, baby. We're going to be
Yeah.
after talking a lot of FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're all not happy because we all are not big soccer
Well, we
fans.
got to. Team USA's involved. So we got
We
to.
got it. We can do it.
We have to.
For Mark Oldhoff, Guy Halpern, along with Vice President Danny Boy Reginald, have a wonderful week. Go, New York, go. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. Also, I know I know we shouldn't include this, but can the Magic do the unthinkable?
Could that happen? I didn't even mention that.
You
Okay,
know?
let's take 1 second before we close. Could they do it, Dan?
I don't know. Like, it's gonna be tough. Like, I have this tough feeling that
I mean,
Detroit's gonna go home and then turn the tables. But that's just
ugh.
me. That's just me being pessimistic. Let's
Yeah, I
go,
know.
Magic.
Go
You know?
Orlando.
Let's
All right.
go.
All right,
All right,
everybody.
for